Today we're back at my Pftitzer Juniper. I'd left it alone most of last year just to grow, but I felt I had two options. Leave it as this sort of leaning upright style, but I felt it had too many straight boring areas, so I started to bend and twist it. This will start to reduce the size, but most importantly I had those lovely twists and turns that you see on old junipers. I was a bit short of decent thick wire, so I ended up using garden wire. It's not as pliable and needed quite a bit to get the job done. And as you can see here, I nearly snapped this branch off. It's just about holding on here. So here's the final look. I've only wired the trunk. I've left all the branches alone. Mostly as I nearly snapped that one off and I didn't want to start causing too much carnage. You can see it's drastically changed the overall look of the tree. This has been in this small flower pot for 2 or maybe 3 years actually. So I want to repot it this spring. That's another reason why I didn't go crazy on the bending the branches. You need to give it a bit of time between doing heavy work. So you shouldn't do heavy bending and then repot in the same year. It's a bit too overwhelming for the tree. I wouldn't consider this heavy bending, probably moderate at best. I'm also not going to get too radical with my repot. It is also a young tree, so I think I can handle this work and the repot a few months apart with no bother. So by April it was time to repot. It seemed to cope well with the trunk bending, there was no dieback. As I pull it out of the pot here, you can see it's nice and full and it's not overly pot bound. I first need to get this cutting out. It's still green, so it probably is alive, but it has no roots. And well, I've nowhere to put it, so goodbye little cutting. After raking everything out, you can see I have a decent amount of roots. And one weird long root coming off the left hand side there. It's also going to be able to handle having all the soil removed just fine. This will probably be one of the tamest root prunings you've ever seen me do. Just a touch off the bottom and then that weird thick root on the side can come off. There's also this one thick root coming straight down from the centre of the root ball. As you see, I'm hanging the tree upside down from it, which is a kind of a weird technique, but I didn't drop it. So that's all the roots I took off. So I'm going to plant this in a pot, which was some sort of huge ice cream tub or something. I've just poked it full of holes and sprayed it black. It's clearly a lot bigger than the last pot, and hopefully with the large number of holes it will drain well and hopefully we'll see some good growth in here. My only real problem with the tree is the initial 3 or 4 inches of the trunk are super straight. It was too thick to bend, so I probably should have decided to bend it up a bit earlier. Maybe last year I wouldn't be able to get some movement into it. But never mind, I'm sure I can lean it off to the side or add some deadwood up it or something. And I can worry about that later. For now it just needs to thicken and fill in. So I'm just adding some chopped sphagnum moss on top. There's a lot of fine roots near the surface, so I want to keep them nice and safe. And here is the dusty water washing out. Here it is all repotted. It seems okay. It's covered in buds, but weirdly the light blue colour looks like it's washed off and it's more of a lime green now. I'm not sure at all what that's about. But the buds are still swelling, so we have to assume it's fine. They are really starting to push out in May. So it looks like it should do really well this year unless something goes drastically wrong. I might give it a light prune back in the summer, I haven't decided. But I'll definitely be twisting up some of the branches in autumn. Thanks for watching, see you next time.